So an interesting little news story broke yesterday that not a lot of people are talking about, and I really feel like they should. Vin Diesel took to his Instagram to post that on his birthday, David Toohey, the writer and director of Pitch Black, Chronicles of Riddick, and Riddick, sent him Riddick for Furya, and he was really excited to get what appeared to be a very short treatment. Only a couple pages is what his daughter had showed him, but that was really about it. He got sent this outline. Don't know if that was just a couple pages, if that was the full script, or if this is really what David Toohey's been up to for the last couple of years. I mean, you have to remember, coming up this September will have been 6 years since Riddick hit theaters, and kind of, it came and went. It wasn't the best movie on the planet. It wasn't the worst movie on the planet. Dave Bautista was pretty good. It did feel a bit like a rehash of Pitch Black, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it also showcased just how much of a D&D nerd Vin Diesel was. But what's more interesting about this is the fact of how Vin Diesel got the rights to Riddick. I should probably do a full breakdown of the Riddick franchise at one point in time, because I do find it to be very interesting. It is actually one of my favorite franchises. So my question then becomes, what exactly are we going to see in this movie if we ever see it? Well, the likelihood of Vin Diesel pitching it now has a lot to do with the fact that they are shooting Fast and Furious 9. It could potentially be as a way to distract or deflect from the fact that a stuntman working on the movie is now in an induced coma because of an accident on set. I don't believe that's the case, to be honest with you, but it's the news that's coming out, and this happens to hit the next day, and it just kind of feels like maybe more people might talk about a new Riddick movie than looking at the problems from the production side of the second to last Fast and Furious film. But this movie is obviously, based upon the title, going to take us back to Furya, which is where Richard B. Riddick came from, and we don't quite know yet. David Toohey hasn't done anything in the past 6 years that I know of. I could be wrong, but I haven't seen his name pop up in anything. Even following Chronicles of Riddick, he did that one movie with, I believe, Chris Hemsworth and Mila Jovovich. What was it called? Something Place or whatever it was, and that was pretty decent. I don't remember the title, but I remember the movie being okay. And he didn't really do a lot. And then when Vin Diesel got the rights to the Riddick franchise back from Universal, they decided to make this low budget entry into the franchise, which surprisingly they never pursued another one. You figure they would have tried to get something off the ground, at least a TV series, but all things considered, the only thing in Vin Diesel's life right now that's making him a lot of money is the Fast and Furious franchise. And until you finish it up with number 10, there's really no point of messing with a good thing. People can wait for Riddick. They've waited long enough for Fast and Furious. By the time that number 10 drops, it will have been a solid 20 years since the first movie came out. And they might actually have a Riddick film poised for 2022 in order to keep that particular 2 decades thing. I think Pitch Black came out before Fast and Furious, right? I think Pitch Black was in the year 2000. So who knows? Maybe after they wrap up filming those movies this year, David Toohey and Vin Diesel rush off to go and make this movie. Who knows? I'm cautiously optimistic, predominantly because as much as I love Pitch Black, it wasn't a Richard B. Riddick movie. He just was the breakout character from it. And as much as I love Chronicles of Riddick, and I do love Chronicles of Riddick, you should see the unrated director's cut and not the theatrical release. The theatrical release was a PG-13 film, was quite a bit of fun, but not as good as the unrated movie, which ultimately felt at parts like watching something wholly different. And as a movie franchise that needed to be rated R, when they scaled that back, because the first Chronicles had a $160 million budget based upon the success of not only Fast and Furious, but the Pitch Black film. They really were banking on Vin Diesel being a major star. It didn't gross as much as it cost, and they lost money on the deal. So yeah, Vin Diesel's probably going to he's probably going to aim for a smaller budget. But using the popularity of the Fast and Furious films, the fact that they are billion-dollar franchises now, is going to probably be the best way for him to get the financing he needs to get this fourth film off the ground. What I would like them to do is I'd like them to treat it very similar to how Starbreeze did with Escape from Butcher Bay. Escape from Butcher Bay is probably the best video game adaptation of a film property. That game is amazing. The gameplay, the gunplay, the action, the combat, amazing. The story, phenomenal. And this was out on the original Xbox and the PS2. It is, I don't even know if it's on PS2. I know it's on Xbox. I played the hell out of it. And it's something that they could easily adapt. And I think at this point in time, more people would probably be interested in an Escape from Butcher Bay film rather than another Riddick entry. And then do that, make that, make a film adaptation of a video game adaptation about how Riddick gets his eye shine, and then go and do Furya down the road. Give us a prequel, then a sequel. I'm just saying this. I think that's the best course of action. But anyway, I'm excited nonetheless. I'd love to go back into that world. I would love to see what happens with it. And I'm hoping that it's just better than the last movie that I feel focused a bit too much on story, on like world development rather than giving us a compelling story. Richard B. Riddick is a good character, but he's only better when he's surrounded by other good characters to bounce off of. It's why Pitch Black worked. It's one of the reasons why Chronicles didn't as much. And ultimately, it was just him versus a whole bunch of mercenaries in Riddick, and there wasn't a lot there for him to really work with outside of the Katie Sackhoff boob scene. That was unexpected. Appreciated, but unexpected. Anyway, I'm making a joke. Anyway, your thoughts, your opinions. Let me know down below in the comments. Let me know on Twitter. Hit me up on Facebook at facebook.com/groups/3bucktheater. And I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day and peace out.